What's going on, everybody? It's Andy here and welcome to my Game Week 22 preview for FPL, a weekly video where I take you through my thoughts for the coming week, transfers I'm looking at making and my captain choices. This one's a bit special. Usually we have to wait a bit longer in the season or later in the season for a double game week, but this week for Game Week 22 we've got one. Both Spurs and West Ham are playing twice, which is awesome. So I'm going to go through kind of the players that I'm looking at bringing in and players you should be looking at bringing in for the double game week as well. I'm recording this slightly early this week. The Game Week 21 hasn't quite finished yet, but because it's New Year's Eve, then New Year's Day, and the turnaround is ridiculously quick for this game week. So I'm recording it on Saturday night. It's the 30th of December. I had to check, even though I knew. And most of the games are finished. There's only 2 more tomorrow. So I'm going to show you my score for Game Week 21 so far, how I've done, what transfers I made last week in the end, because on the last week's preview I said I wasn't probably going to make any, and then I made 3. So we'll go through that now, and then we'll look ahead to next week. So this is me for Game Week 21 so far. I'm basically on 62 minus 8 because I took an 8-point hit, and I've got 2 players left, which is Sterling and Otamendi. I'll take you through what I did. For those of you that have been watching streams and stuff or following me on Twitter or on Fantasy Football Scout, I've been looking for a way to get Firmino in. I felt like he was good value. Obviously doing really well. So I wanted to get him in, but I didn't have a good way of doing it. It basically came down to Kane out and do the hokey cokey, as people are calling it. So get rid of Kane and get him back for the double. Take Hazard out, swapping for someone like Lingard. Or take Pogba out for Lingard, but take an additional hit. So it would have taken, or it would have cost me minus 8 instead of minus 4 to get Firmino in. And in the end, basically, there was so much noise around Hazard not starting. I looked at it last night, but there wasn't enough noise. And then I logged on to Fantasy Football Scout this morning. Someone tells me that Pedro and Willian are going to start. Now, they didn't know for sure that Hazard wasn't going to start, but that was a pretty good sign of things to come. Then on Twitter, as we got closer to the deadline, I made sure that I set a reminder to check that. And the noise just got more and more. So in the end, I swapped him for Lingard, knowing full well that I had Pogba, but he'll be gone next week. We'll come on to that in a minute. And then that let me get Firmino in for Austin, which meant I could partner him with Calvert-Lewin. Now, in the end, it's not worked out well. It means with making these moves, I've not played me or Duffy, who both got clean sheets. I bought in Alonso for Christensen. Basically, I had enough money after doing those transfers to still do my double game week transfers and get Alonso in for Jones or Christensen. So I just made the choice to get in Christensen. Obviously, wasn't quite back yet from illness. I didn't know if he was going to start. I had a feeling Jones might get rested as well, although he has been playing back-to-back games. There's always a chance that he might get rested, but Mourinho just couldn't afford it. So I went for Christensen. I might get him back at some point. I just felt that Alonso was in really good form. Why I had the money, I just wanted to do it. And I had the kind of, I guess you could call it stupid logic, that because I bought him in for a hit last year and he got a clean sheet and a goal and bonus points, that he was going to do the same this year. In the end, he only got 6 points clean sheet, but I've got him in my team now. He's set and forget. Chelsea's fixtures are still great for kind of the next 7 to 8 game weeks, so he'll just be in my team. I don't have to think about picking him, even against Arsenal away. So in the end, I took a minus 8 for game week 21. I'm doing okay. 62 minus 8 is okay. That's like, what, 54 with 2 players left. I think that's going to do okay this week. I've nailed the captain again with Salah. He got 2 goals. Should have had more, to be honest, but yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, this week's looking okay. Richarlison, final kind of step into my team. Now I've got Firmino and Kane, and I don't have to pay Calvert-Lewin. He only got 1 point today. Big Sam said that he needs a rest. They're looking to sign another striker. I think it's the end of Calvert-Lewin in our teams, to be honest. He's just going to be a backup for me. And then Lingard and Pogba, Man United were just awful. Like, Jones, great, got a clean sheet. He's going to get 3 bonus points as well. That's how I know that I've got 62, because Salah and Jones will get bonus points. But Man United, just awful. No ideas going forward. Pogba's just shackled to central midfield. We've lost Lukaku now, so Rashford or Martial's going to have to play up front. Rashford just looked poor today. And generally, I want rid of most of my Man United players. I think Lingard should have scored probably today. And I think for 6.1 million, you can take a bit more of a risk on him. But Pogba, I'm so glad to be getting rid of. And on that note, let's talk about Game Week 22, because it is double game week. One of the most exciting times of the year for FPL, and I'll show you what moves I've made for that, who I'm captaining, if you can't guess, and then we'll just bring up the team now. On the fly, while we're recording. So this is the team for Game Week 22. So I've already made my moves. I knew by getting Alonso, Firmino and Lingard in that I'd made my choice for who I was going to get already. I've made the moves because Son might be going up in price, and then once he does, I won't be able to afford him without an additional hit. So my transfers for this week are Pogba and Richarlison out for ARNAUTOVIC and Son. Now, Alli and Eriksen are going to be the ones that people look at for Spurs midfield. If you look at the last kind of 4 to 6 game weeks, Son is ahead of them in terms of stats. He's been playing really well. Obviously got the goal and 2 assists in the last game. So I think if you could guarantee that Son, Alli and Eriksen were going to play both games, I think Son's the one to pick. The problem is, he is probably the more likely to miss out. So most people will go for Alli or Eriksen. In that case, I'd probably go for Eriksen just about. I think he's been more consistent over the season. Alli could be about to go on a little bit of a run, but generally has been out of form this season. So Eriksen's probably the top pick. But for me, I just looked at the stats and I've just bet on Son. Now, you could look at it and say, well, I can't afford Eriksen or Alli, so obviously you've gone for Son. But I knew that I was putting myself into this position. I could have just not got Alonso and saved the cash and given myself a choice. But looking at the stats, I love Son. He did really well for me in the last season. If he plays both games, he's going to do really well. For 8 million, I thought it was worth a punt. So he's in for me. And then Richarlison, a bit sad to let Richarlison go. I know he's got a bit of kind of stigma around him because he gets loads of good chances and misses them. He got another assist today. He's been pretty consistent. He obviously had a rough patch recently. I think a lot of that coincided with bad games and red cards for Watford. So I'm sad to see Richarlison go, but ARNAUTOVIC has been on fire. In terms of stats, he's been crazy for West Ham. I think Lanzini's the other option there, but I think ARNAUTOVIC is just kind of heads and tails. That's the wrong words, but he's far above Lanzini, I think. So ARNAUTOVIC is a no-brainer for me. And the good thing about West Ham players is they got really nice fixtures after the double, which is different to Spurs. Spurs have got, like, I think Everton and Southampton, and then they've got 3 of the top kind of 6 teams in a row. So I don't really want to load up too much on Spurs players, but West Ham, I'm happy to have ARNAUTOVIC in. I think he's going to easily match Richarlison, maybe even beat him after the double game week. So he's easily the one to get from West Ham for me. I've not got any defenders or goalkeepers, as you see. That's not really... Basically, I've made mistakes in the last few weeks with my transfers. I've tried being clever with some. I've ended up wasting transfers. Basically, the last 3 weeks, all my transfers have been poor. And at no point have I bought in a West Ham defender, West Ham goalie, or a Spurs defender or goalie. And I just can't do it now. I mean, I can if I can take more hits. I've had to take a -4 to get Son on ARNAUTOVIC. I'm happy with that. I don't know if I want to take more hits to then not play Alonso, Jones and Otamendi, who could all get clean sheets. I don't know if it's worth taking a hit. The one I would probably look at is maybe Pope to Adrian for a -4. Well, I think I'm going to stick with how it is right now. Elliott getting injured. Hopefully it's just short term, but that's quite annoying, to be honest, for my team. I'm probably going to have to play Pope against Liverpool unless I want to take a -4. I'll have a look at that because Adrian could be played afterwards. Like I said, West Ham's fixtures are really good. So that's the only other thing on the cards. That'd be another -8 for me, but in a double game week I'm happy to do that. Captain wise, it's on Kane. A bit of a spanner in the works, the fact that he's ill, because obviously we don't want to hear that. He's been on form, wanting to go into those 2 games on form, and I think most of us, at least I was, going to triple captain him. Now it's a bit more iffy. We'll have to wait and see what news we get. Hopefully he'll at least play in both games. We'll just have to see what Pochettino says in terms of kind of when he was fully fit. Is he fully fit? Is he fully recovered? How bad was the illness, etc. I don't know if we'll get that info. Obviously, we've seen Rooney be ill recently, and he was out for about a week, so it might not be good for Kane, to be honest. If you can wait with your transfers, if you're not stuck for money like me, I absolutely would wait until the last minute to do your moves. But yeah, Kane's got to be captain for me. I'll have to wait and see what Pochettino says before I put the triple captain on him. There's a big debate around triple captain because later on in the season there'll be more fixtures. Maybe we'll get a better opportunity to captain someone else or triple captain someone else who's better. But I don't think you're going to get much better than Swansea away and West Ham at home. Obviously Swansea won today against Watford, new manager in, but they're still a poor team. I think the manager's come in. Who knows if he can, I guess, work miracles. And obviously West Ham have started conceding goals as well. So Kane triple captain is what I want to do. I don't know if I will do that, but I'll definitely captain him, and obviously Son, my vice captain. Elsewhere in the team, Klopp's come out and said that Salah got a bit of a knock towards the end of the game. So we'll have to see what that's about, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be bad. If he misses Burnley, so be it. I don't mind having to play Duffy off the bench for me. And if it is just a small knock, he's unlikely to miss the next game because that's over 2 weeks away from today. So Burnley's this coming week in the next few days, and then Man City's after the FA Cup round. So you'd imagine players like Salah, Kane, Firmino, etc. are going to get breaks in the FA Cup, or at least play a reduced amount of minutes. So I'm not too worried about Salah. Hopefully he'll play against Burnley. If he doesn't, I'm happy to rest him for one game. I mean, I got him in at 9 million. He's over 10 million now. I've got so much money invested in him. He's so consistent. There's just no way I can drop him. So that's kind of the rest of the team. It almost picks itself, but Firmino I knew was a slight risk of bringing him in against Leicester if he did nothing, because then it's Burnley away, a Man City at home. I'm just hoping he can get something in one of those 2 games. The other reason I got him in is kind of for price structure reasons. So Vardy's actually got every other game now for Vardy is a nice home fixture, I think, and then the other ones are either home or away against top teams, but he does have a good record against top teams, so I've got my eye on him as maybe a swap for Firmino, because Firmino tends to go on these bursts of points and then just gets nothing, and I've probably bought him in at the wrong time. But the option's there to swap to Vardy. So Lingard stays because of his price for now. Sterling, obviously, is doing wonders. Man City have still got to play tomorrow. I'm recording this on the 30th. They're playing on the 31st New Year's Eve. So maybe there'll be a big injury there and I'll have to reassess. But right now, this is my team for Game Week 22. I think Son looks like the best midfielder if they're all going to play. If, like most people, you think that's not going to happen, he's not going to play in both games, then you're probably going to want to bring in Alli or Eriksen, in which case I think Eriksen is just about the best bet. Kane captain goes without saying, unless we know for sure that he's going to miss Swansea, in which case I'll put it on Son probably. And then ARNAUTOVIC I think is by far and away the best, not heads or tails, by far and away the best option in West Ham attackers right now. Lanzini, yes, could be a nice punt, but they're around the same price. I think ARNAUTOVIC has had so many goal attempts the last few weeks that he's the one to get. He's got that temperament, maybe yellow, red card. You just got to take a risk on it at 6.9 million. And like I said, you can keep him afterwards because of the fixtures. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know below what you think of my transfers. Am I missing out by not having defenders or goalies from West Ham or Spurs? Should I take a hit and do Pope to Adrian? Maybe that'll work out because I can keep playing him afterwards. In fact, I might do that actually. I don't know, but not right now. And which double game week players are you bringing in? Are you triple captaining Kane or are you waiting for news? It'd be good to know. I'll leave it there though. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. There won't be a stream this week just because of the quick turnaround. We'll get back to them going into game week 23 it will be, and then hopefully we'll be more back to normal because there's going to be weeks between game weeks instead of days, or less than a day in the case of game week 22. But yeah, I'm actually leaving it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Good luck in game week 22.